So we're going to just focus on 3 simple steps to have a healthy gut. And I'd have to say the first step is really about feeding the gut right. Now, when I work with somebody one-on-one and we do an individualized plan, we do need to assess you properly to meet you where you're at. So for example, if someone has SIBO, you wouldn't start by going in and feeding their gut bacteria with prebiotics and fiber, because you could make it way worse. So this information that I'm sharing tonight, please take as education and not the rule. Because when it comes to healing the human body, there are so many ways to do it, and the order in which we approach it is vital for your safety and success. So these rules are really around people that don't have significant gut problems. But if you have got significant gut issues like Crohn's disease, gastritis, like really bad irritable bowel disease, then a different approach is really needed. So the first tip is you've got to feed your gut. You've got to give it food. So our gut houses trillions of bacteria, good and bad and otherwise. And what we're wanting to do, just like any garden environment, we want to have the plants that are healthy for us, dominant in our garden, so in our gut. So we want our good bacteria to be the dominant species, and those bacteria, they help us thrive, they give us vitamins, they help reduce inflammation, they help give us neurotransmitters for our moods, and they compete for space in the gut with any bad bacteria. That's why we want more numbers of them. When we have too many bad bacteria, we end up with things like excessive acid dumping in the system. Different elements go in the system that can cause heart disease. Like, there's so many links to what bad bacteria does. For example, a client that I was speaking to a few weeks ago had mouth ulcers all the time. And after she did a gut cleanse and we weeded out the bad bacteria and re-inoculated her body with good bacteria and corrected the microbiome, no more mouth ulcers. So the way that illness presents in our body can be a direct reflection of the gut bacteria. It's not the full story, but it can definitely be a big part of the puzzle. We have got 8 predominant family groups of bacterial species in the human microbiome. So these family groups, I think of them like the world. We have all these different cultures in our world, and all the cultures have different cuisines. You've got Italians eating their cuisine, and Asians eating their cuisine, and Eskimos eating their cuisine, and their body adapts to those foods and they can thrive eating very different foods. Our gut's the same. So we have these different families of bacteria living in our gut. And we can break that into 8 main family groups. So family group number 1 is one of the more dominant type we have, which is a lactobacillus species. And they eat things like leeks, onions, garlic, shallots, asparagus, globe artichoke, banana, agave, and chicory root. So they love that stuff. And you're probably nodding along going, oh yeah, I eat that, I eat onion, I eat that, asparagus, yeah, that's good. Family group number 2, it likes to eat legumes of all types. So lentils, chickpeas, beans. They eat nuts like cashews, pistachios, and they like a lot of different types of dairy like kefir. And kefir's active molecule called kefiran. Then we got family group number 3, and that family group likes citrus peel, apples. Particularly, the skin is good for the added polyphenol content, which is good for our general health and DNA signaling. Family group 3 also likes stone fruits, carrots, and sweet potato. Family group number 4 likes unripe bananas, especially the ladyfinger variety. And you might find a lot of the food-based prebiotic formulas on the market actually will have green banana in them for this reason. This group also loves cold cooked white potatoes cooled overnight. So when we cook those white potatoes, the starch molecules change, and then when it cools, it crystallizes, and it's that crystallized version that the bacteria can eat as a food source. So think potato salad, just any cold pre-cooked potato. Sweet potato also works there. It's not as much a probiotic rich food, but it still does feed that family group. Okay, then we've got family group 5. They like oats, barley, and pearled barley. Family group 6 likes psyllium seed hulls. Family group 7 likes flaxseed, sesame seeds, whole grain cereals, legumes, and berry seeds. And then family group 8 likes cereal brands of rye, wheat, rice, corn, and oats. So 8 types of family groups, and this is why diversity is so important for a healthy diet. To have a healthy diet, we need diversity. We eat all the colors of the rainbow and eat as much variety as possible. Now, the trick that I come up against time and time again in clinic is that people will end up with food intolerances and have big gaps in their diet of these essential food groups, leading to bacterial dysbiosis, so starving out some of those gut microbe families, allowing space for bad bacteria to thrive. And that's what leads to, well, one of the things that leads to dysbiosis. Now, what do you do about that? Well, if you have an intolerance to any of these foods, don't go and eat it because you've got an intolerance. You need to heal the intolerance before you can reintroduce that food. And depending on how damaged the gut is, depends on how long it takes to heal a food intolerance. So basically, you remove the food from the diet, you do a gut healing protocol. It will take you anywhere from, I would say, 4 weeks on. Some food intolerances with particularly damaged gut can take a year to resolve. But the end goal is so beneficial, and that is that your diet becomes diverse again, and you're getting all the minerals, the vitamins, the polyphenols, the benefits of a healthy gut microbiome. So while that sounds like a lot of work and a long time, it's definitely worth it if that's where you're at with your gut health at the moment.